When it comes to antiques, there's some categories that seem to be perplexing and even a bit mystifying. Oriental rugs are one of them, so grab your pen. Collectibles appraiser Frank Shaia gives us an essential checklist for analyzing Oriental rugs, a recurring collector's favorite.
Today we're talking about what to look for in a good Oriental rug, especially an antique Oriental rug. First of all, there's a couple things you have to lay out. First one obviously being, what is an antique Oriental rug? Well, the period of time between 1870 and about 1915 or up to World War I is what we commonly refer to as an antique rug, as opposed to semi-antique being between the wars, and then the newer ones are after World War II. So that's what an antique rug is. The next thing that you want to cover when you're looking for a good antique Oriental rug, is it a real handmade Oriental rug or is it a machine-made rug? Now, I brought a small little loom with me here, and this loom kind of will show you what a handmade Oriental rug is all about. A handmade Oriental rug has a warp threads and weft threads, which are the threads that go across this way. And knot by knot, each knot is tied all the way across, and then they'll run a weft thread, and then they'll tie another row of knots, and that's how a hand-woven rug is made. Machine-made rugs are made on a machine, and consequently there's no warp and weft. So one of the things that you can tell that's an easy telltale of a machine-made rug is that at the ends there won't be any fringe. These warp threads actually make up the fringe of the rug. So if there's no fringe, it's because there's no warp threads, and so what machine-made rugs do is they add a fake fringe on the end of the rug. Probably one of the most frequent questions I'm asked is, what do you look for in a rug? Jokingly, I tell people all the time, color, 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 condition, and color. Now, I kind of say that jokingly, but in truth, it's almost exactly what I do. I look for beauty and harmony. When we look for a rug, I'm looking for soft peach colors, soft greens or blues, the soft colors that are in a rug like this that has these wonderful blues and all of this nice coral in it, or a clear, crisp design that you see in Caucasian rugs with the ivory border and everything is clear and crisp. In an Oriental rug, you want harmony of colors and you want beautiful colors that you'll like. I sell rugs as art. As art, it has to just be beautiful. Objectively, there's a couple things you want to look for. You want to look for tight knots. When we talk about tight knots, you can look at the back of the rug and you can actually see how tightly woven the knots are. Tight knots make rugs last longer. Another thing that makes rugs last longer, so you want a good wool, and that's what haris are common for. Also, these rugs that are from the Caucasus, they use a very good wool, which makes the rug last longer. One final objective thing that you can look for in rugs is the dyes in the rug. Now, of course, everybody always wants natural dyes, and we talk about natural dyes as dyes from vegetables or beetles and insects and things. And they are great. What natural dyes do is, number one, they don't run. And number two is they tend to make things look mellow. Over time, they soften with age and they have a beautiful patina. The green turns that teal-looking color, and it just makes for a beautiful rug. The only dye that you don't want, back in the late 1800s, they produced a dye called an aniline dye. Aniline dyes were terrible. They ran, and they also not just faded, they disappeared. So, for instance, a rust rug would become gold after 20 years because the rust would just leave the rug altogether, front and back. Two last points. You want to make sure that the rug is in good condition. Now, when we talk about condition, I want to point out one thing. Almost every rug I buy, the ends and sides are worn, and I have to fix the ends and sides. That's not a problem. What you want is to make sure the rug itself has good pile on it. If the rug is all worn down and flat, it's almost impossible to reweave. A rug like this, if it had a little tiny hole, that's not a big deal. You could fix the little tiny hole and you wouldn't even know it was there. Final thing that I look for in rugs is a rarity. Obviously, that's again a subjective thing. I look for things that, wow, I've never seen anything like that. You see a lot of Saruks. You don't see a lot of pieces like this, or this beautiful Malayer, or this Caucasian rug. Final point is always, if in doubt, find a dealer that you can trust and have confidence with. That is by far one of the most important things. So I hope I've answered your questions today, and it was wonderful being with you.